Hello, hi everybody, myself Alavat Ramesh. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will discuss about very general topic, especially in sustainable topic is environmental chemistry. So environmental chemistry, this is the one of the branch, it will touch to all the even engineering and undergraduate, all the science and the non-science people also they know environmental chemistry. And this is one of the highly multidisciplinary branch of environmental chemistry. So in this topic today we will discuss about only what is the basics of environmental chemistry we will discuss, and I will show you the few images regarding to environmental chemistry pictures. We need to understand what is the environmental chemistry, and next YouTube channel we will discuss about the very deeply in each one topic about the environmental chemistry and important bits for IIT JEE mains, advanced and NEET previous years bits. So before we are going to discuss, you can see first of all what is environmental chemistry. Environmental chemistry is one of the chemical process and the pollutant in natural environmental focusing on their source, especially in reaction, transport and effect on ultimate their fate. So it is one of the highly interdisciplinary fields, and it helps to monitor and understand the solve the problems, environmental problems caused by both natural and human activities. In this environmental chemistry you can see many branches like atmospheric chemistry, water chemistry. You can see the atmospheric chemistry especially focus on how this atmosphere changing of greenhouse gases, ozone deflation by the chlorofluorocarbon CFC, and how the acid rains forms due to the sulfur and nitrogen oxides. And you can see the next one branch is the water chemistry. So you know this nowadays the water contamination will cause many problems like the heavy metals and organic compounds, analyzing water quality factors such as dissolving oxygen, pH, and the phenomena of eutrophication and nutrient runoff. These kind of studies will comes under the water chemistry. Now coming to the next one is the soil chemistry. So this is also one of the important nowadays we need to know, and this is the one of the very exploring of research area. So water chemistry, after you will see in soil chemistry effect of contaminants like the pesticides, herbicides, industrial waste products, especially in solid materials nowadays people they are throwing in outside. And next one is the environmental toxicology. So toxicology, the word itself, it's causing many effect, like you can see the living organism including humans also. So it involves studying the how contaminate like polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons and heavy metals move through the food chains and the impact of health. Next one, environmental remediations. So focusing on the developing methods and technologies to clean up contaminated environments. Techniques can include physical removal or chemical treatment, biological process like bioremediations which used to living organism to degrade the pollutants. Next, coming to what are the application and example. So environmental chemistry is one of the essential for developing technology in forming policies to protect human health and the planet. That is the main concept. So the pollution control, the use of catalytic converters like a car reduce this environmental chemistry convert the toxic exhausts pollutants like carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides into less harmful substance. Next one is the waste management. So in this involves the studying of chemical composition to waste to minimize the environmental impact. So waste is often spread into the biodegradable and non-biodegradable types, within the non-biodegradable materials being recycled. Next one is the green chemistry. This is also one of the branch of environmental chemistry. It is the sub-discipline focusing on the preventing pollutions. The main concept is preventing pollution. It is the source of designing safer and more sustainable chemical products and the process. So an example, using liquid carbon dioxide instead of carcinogenic tetrachloroethane for a dry cleaning purpose they are using. And next one you can see the sustainable technology is very important. So the field drives the innovation in the renewable energy and sustainable materials. For the instance, chemistry, the vital for the developing solar cell, biofuels, biodegradable plastics. Then policy and regulation. This is also considered under the environmental chemistry. The environmental chemist, as an environmental chemist, it provides the scientific data needed to set the environmental regulations and standard such as the limits on the pollutants in drinking water and emission from industries. These are some of the environmental chemistry cause. Somewhat closer you need to see the what is environmental chemistry and what is the previous histories you can see here. So environmental chemistry is one of the science in chemical phenomena. It occurs in the environment itself. So it is one of the multi-branched science involving the chemistry, physics, life science, agriculture and public health, botany and medical science, etc. It's maybe in defined as the source, reaction, transport effect and fates of the chemical species in the water, soil, air environments. So the major and important part of the environmental studies and the effect of human activities upon environmental segments such as atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. At present, number of environmental issues are linked with our ecological, social, political and chemical and economic problems. One can never forget some issues will happen in previous. You can see in the London smoke is killed around 3000 to 4000 peoples in 1952. And second one case you can see many Japanese are killed by eating of fish because of they cause in Minamata disease. And damage of historical marbles status in Greece and Italy because of acid rains. Especially you can see the India how suffering this pollution, yellowing of Taj Mahal by sulfur dioxide fumes. Taj Mahal in India, one of the architecture. Then tremendous increasing in allergic disorders, effect of nuclear weapons and radiation on the citizens of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and Bhopal gas tragedy which looked at around the 3200 lives and affected nearly 50,000 people who are still suffering from the respiratory and lungs, eyes and throat diseases due to the methyl isocyanide vapors. These are some prehistorical linkage of the how environmental effect is happen in very bigger problems in previous days. Now coming to that our few of also you can see now the discovery of ozone hole in Antarctic and the begins with the whole of Arctic is shown how the fragiles in our environment. The wave of environmental awareness started sweeping in over India, but other developing nations after the conclusion of the United Nations Conference on Human Environment at Stockholm in 1972 will happen. The excellent work was done being in the field of both chemistry peoples and non-chemistry group of scientists. So one of the main object of environmental chemistry is to determine the nature as well as the quality of specific pollutants in the environment. The basic understanding of the environmental concept of environmental chemistry is therefore must of all the chemists and non-chemists who are engaged in the study of environmental and related science. Since the amount of environmental pollutants in natural samples is appreciably small because of the level of air pollutant may be less than the micrograms per cubic meters and the air the level of many water pollutants may be parts per million by weight of and even the lesser. So environmental chemists require high sensitivity and accuracy in determining such the environmental pollutants. Now coming to that our segment of environment. So environmental having basically the four segments are important. So one is the atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. So in environmental chemistry again you can see the aquatic chemistry, soil chemistry, atmospheric chemistry, toxicological chemistry and green chemistry. These are the few earlier already we discussed in slides you can see. Now we can coming to that our topic is one of the fundamental of environmental chemistry. So what is the basics fundamental of environmental chemistry? What is the main object of the environmental chemistry? The The chemistry, environmental chemistry is renewable energy, in situ analysis, atom economy is very important, and safer solvents and catalysis and safer chemicals. This is a main concept of green chemistry and environmental chemistry for fundamental. Now coming to the what are the source of air pollutions. So pesticides, metallurgy industries, chemical industry, building materials, production, energy productions and forest fires and transportation and refineries, some industries. Once the types of pollution you can see here, air pollution, water pollution, land pollution. So chemical substance and what are the effect you can see in here clear. So how the acid rains will happen, the trees will kill by the acid rains. So by the industries and sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides, they remove and they form with the water reaction, they form sulfuric acid HNO3 like a acid rains. You can see the ocean acidification, how it will be happen. Even ocean acidification also one of the major problem of nowadays, how that our culture will be problem. You can see the carbon dioxide react with water and carbonate, they form bicarbonate ions. These are the from the atmospheric, how the marine science or marine life contamination. Now you can see here smokes and reduce of water quality, climate change and acid rain because of especially nitrogen oxides, one of the major playing role for the all the most of the pollutions. Now you can see that air pollution, seal ozone deflation, greenhouse effect and indoor air pollution, particulate like pollution like acid rains, blockchain pollutants and cause of effects. You can see how that happen in the pollution in this picture you will understood. And this is one of the primary pollutant like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide and fires and carbon dioxide, how these vehicle the reactions happen chemical, then secondary pollutant like acid rains and ozone deflation. This is the cycles are happening and again our atmosphere surrounding area will be changing and will face lot of the problems. Next you can see the how the especially in acid rains harmful vegetation and water life. You can see the sulfur dioxide emission from industries and clouds with the sulfuric acid. They form acid rains. These are the one of the major problems of causing of acid rains, and you can see here this picture also you'll understood how industries and this picture, and you can see how these environmental impact and industrial reactions, industrial many chemical industries, and you can see these the many atmosphere, how this cloud deflation is happen, how the human life is happening in the due to the various pollutions of industrialization. You can see very clearly in many images you can find out here this is the one of the important points of IIT JEE means they came this bit, you can note down this one and further we will discuss. And this is that how the mercury major role, and this is the how mercury transport of fish chemical reaction, mercury anaerobic microorganisms. This is the very important for how happen in the pollution, and mercury is how this what is the theory part of bioaccumulation of mercury, and this is the how ion exchange happen and reverse osmosis purification of water system, ozone deflation, air pollution, and the secondary particulate matter like nitrogen oxides and volatile organic compounds are very major role for the contamination of hydroxys ammonias. And this is the how the energy source of many these cause of air pollutions. And this is the chemistry which will happen emission and meteorological ozone erosion and deposition and environmental component cloud processing you can see here. And this is the one of the what are the key role for the air pollutant. Ammonia is one of the key role pollution for the air, and ozone O3, nitrogen and nitrogen oxide. These are the major role for the key point for the air pollutions. And this is a how soil exchange will be happen and how gene viridity will be. This picture will understand how the circle of the pollution will happen. And from this also you can see that fertilizer, how effect of the soil pollution in biogeochemical cycling will happen, global warming and air pollution using of. And this is water is one of the structure, how this water looks like, the polar covalent bonds, and this is happening, and this is many reactions